Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. As Steffy's plan comes to light, Hope is poised to regain her position. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan may return to Forrester Creations on March 27 after Steffy and Daphne Rose's covert scheme to influence Carter is revealed. Will Brooke help Ridge and Eric bring Hope back? As Steve's plan is revealed, Hope's returns to Forrester Creations. When Steffy's deception is exposed, the disclosure of a covert conspiracy might completely alter Hope's life. When the truth about Steffy Forrester's dishonest tactics is revealed on March 27, 2025, the turmoil at Forrester Creations is set to reach new heights. According to sources, Hope Logan might be about to return to her job at the family fashion firm after a cunning plan that led to her termination in the first place was revealed. Exposed, Steffy's secret Daphne Rose plot. Viewers have been watching for weeks while Hope battled her unjust firing and Steffy kept control at Forrester. However, a remarkable change of events is about to occur. The main bombshell? It seems that Steffy purposely hired perfumer Daphne Rose to sway Carter Walton against Hope and her fashion brand. This well-considered action was a personal one as much as a corporate one. Steffy skillfully positioned Daphne to win Carter over, even planning a kiss that Hope regrettably saw. Carter lost her job at the corporation as a result of this manipulation, which caused her to support the Forresters and oppose Hope. According to an insider close to the production, the entire Forrester family will be shocked when this scheme is revealed. Ridge and Eric were unaware that Steffy's personal grudge was being used against them. Her daughter's cause was broken by the champions. Brooke Logan has been firm by her daughter's side while Hope has been licking her wounds. Never one to back away from a battle, Brooke has been surreptitiously collecting proof of Steffy's manipulation, particularly with the Forresters. Brooke is prepared to attack the Forrester headquarters and demand justice for her daughter now that she has evidence of the Daphne Rose plot. According to sources, she will personally present the startling information to Ridge and Eric Forrester, making them re-evaluate their stance on Hope's termination. Our source shares that Brooke is furious at Steffy's actions. She is fighting against the persistent trend of Forresters using their power to push Logan's aside, not just for Hope's career. Emotional turmoil is brought on by a unique mother-daughter episode. In addition, a special episode directed and written by Heather Tom on March 27 will focus on mothers and daughters, specifically Brooke and Hope, adding even more depth to this developing drama. Their relationship will be examined in this episode amid what is called a severe moment of turmoil. The timing couldn't be more ideal, as the mother-daughter relationship will undoubtedly be put to the strain by Hope's career difficulties and possible vindication. Will Hope be able to regain her proper position with Brooke's tenacious advocacy? Or will her involvement just make things more difficult? Ridge and Eric have to make a choice. Ridge and Eric will be put in an awkward situation when they are shown proof of Steffy's deception. They will now have to acknowledge that they were duped by Steffy's plan, even if they had backed Steffy's decision to terminate Hope and cancel Hope for the future. This puts Ridge in an especially challenging situation. He has always put his daughter's needs first, but will he be able to support her when she acts unethically? How will his relationship with Brooke be affected by this, given she will surely interpret it as confirmation of her suspicions about Steffy? Regarding Eric, the patriarch of the Forrester family has always taken great satisfaction in operating a family business founded on moral principles. Finding out that his granddaughter manipulated business decisions through dishonest means goes right to the core of his principles. For the Carter, what does this mean? How Carter will respond when he realizes he was being duped is arguably the most intriguing topic in all of this. The normally cool-headed COO has been a pawn in Steffy's scheme, and when he discovers that Daphne manipulated him under false pretenses, his dignity will undoubtedly suffer. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful: can the heartbroken COO win Hope back after she brutally dumps Carter after his betrayal? Will Steffy make him feel deceived? Will he become closer to Hope as a result of this realization? Their business collaboration may develop into something more, particularly because Hope is rumored to be on the lookout for a new romantic partner who can heal her broken heart. Speculation about the future. The balance of power will drastically change if Hope does return to Forrester Creations. Steffy will suffer repercussions on both a personal and professional level now that her schemes have been revealed. When Finn finds out about his wife's deceitful methods, their relationship may even suffer. Additionally, the knowledge makes it possible for Hope to resurrect hope for the future with newfound strength. Perhaps with Carter as her greatest ally, she will return from this tempest stronger and more motivated than ever to leave her mark on the fashion industry. Nothing at Forrester Creations will ever be the same again after March 27th, which is undoubtedly going to be a day of reckoning. Mom/daughter time. See Taylor, Steffy, Hope, Katie, and Brooke's historic moments in The Bold and the Beautiful's must-watch moments for Thursday, March 27th. There will be a lot of drama throughout the day, and you won't want to miss a moment of it. To watch, turn on CBS or Paramount Plus. On The Bold and the Beautiful before. For decades, Brooke and Taylor have been competing for Ridge's affections. Even though Brooke and Taylor didn't choose Ridge, they appeared to unite for a while, but that didn't last. Ridge and Brooke were presumably meant to be together forever since they were meant to be. In an attempt to put herself first and move on from Ridge, Taylor left Los Angeles. Taylor vowed she wasn't there for Ridge when she returned to Los Angeles. Since Ridge had actually picked her this time, Brooke felt secure in their relationship. Naturally, Hope and Carter got together for some amusing business at Forrester Creations, and they overthrew the Forresters. Brooke became enraged when Ridge called Hope a bitch. Ridge immediately ran to Taylor as a result of that move, and they quickly reconnected. Brooke hasn't given up entirely, though. Despite Taylor's arguments with her, she chose to stand up for Ridge. Like a ton of bricks, Brooke drops a sardonic Hope. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan is blamed by Brooke Logan. Hope Logan didn't always have a father figure on Bold and the Beautiful over the years. Hope had Brooke Logan as her only parent for a long time. In recent years, Dad Deacon Sharp has taken over. He was mostly absent from the scene prior to that, though. Naturally, Hope Logan's stepfather, Ridge Forrester, was also in and out of her life. Her mother, Brooke Logan, was her constant despite the fact that she lacked a stable male figure. Brooke supports Hope no matter what she does. However, once she gave her daughter a harsh and unexpected directive, something shifted. Spoilers for Hope Logan and Brooke Logan in Bold and the Beautiful. Hope is crying on Bold and the Beautiful this week. She turns to her mother, to whom she always turns when she has troubles. However, when her daughter seeks her mother's support, Brooke surprises her. After her daughter loses her job and boyfriend, Brooke betrays her instead of showing her sorrow. B&B spoilers, Hope and Brooke are in a mess. Hope was embarrassed and lost her job at the beginning of the week of Bold and the Beautiful. However, she also demanded that Carter walk out in support of her and leave FC. When both give Carter an ultimatum, Hope's and Ridge's ultimatums clash. Ridge is essentially telling her to leave, and that's the end of it. The same phrase is said by Hope, but in reference to her relationship with Carter. Hope naturally assumed that Carter would accompany her out, but he fell far short of her expectations. Hope tells the Forresters that she and Carter work as a team, but it appears that her lover may have had a different idea. Therefore, when Hope doesn't get what she wants from Carter, she not only loses her position at FC, but she also humiliates herself in front of Steffy and Ridge. When Steffy fired Hope last week, Brooke was obviously angry since Ridge and Eric had vowed not to delete her line. At FC, however, they are not the only ones who make decisions. Steffy would not allow Hope to work for them after taking their business and humiliating everyone with the ill-gotten authority. Additionally, something changes for Brooke this week as well, even though you would expect him to press the case that Hope should remain at FC. Brooke is preparing to run for Ridge again at the same time as Hope loses her job. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge plays coy as Brooke grovels. This week on Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke seems to believe that Ridge will return to her quickly now that he is back in charge at FC. Perhaps Brooke believes Taylor was merely Ridge's bed warmer before their fates were redirected. However, she practically pleaded with Ridge to return her. He taunted her until Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, entered the room and quickly halted them. Hope also received a reality check. Carter should have fought to keep her at FC, in her opinion, but he accepted Steffy's termination since he knew there would be repercussions. He doesn't pay them, though. Carter visits Hope's home this week on Bold and Beautiful to try to convince her to keep their romance going, but she is incensed. She believes Carter betrayed her and placed her under the bus. Additionally, Hope's past tense declaration of love for him might make him question whether he was being taken advantage of. However, she ended their relationship when the time came. However, not before hurling some fairly nasty remarks that tore at his masculinity. B&B spoilers, is there any hope for a lonely lady soon? Hope severed all connections with Carter in Bold and the Beautiful. This implies that she will no longer have a boyfriend, a career, or someone to vent to. Hope sobs when discussing Carter's lack of support for her with her mother at one point this week. Overall, Hope refuses to take any responsibility for the events that have arisen as a result of her dubious behavior, which encouraged Carter to steal the business. Furthermore, while having no technical authority within FC, Hope bragged about her personal goals. Brooke becomes enraged with her daughter when Hope begins to vent about everyone who is wronging her. As a sobbing Brooke finally loses it, we'll witness Hope tear a new one. She has been kind with Hope for some time now, attempting to help her realize the mistakes of her ways on her own. However, that ship sets sail. Brooke becomes enraged and tells Hope that she doesn't feel sorry for her until she accepts responsibility for her actions. Even though Brooke has been very critical of her, I don't think Hope will accept responsibility anytime soon. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Does Hope begin a new chapter independent of Brooke Logan? It appears that Carter and Hope are left broken when Bold and the Beautiful continues next week. Afterward, when Brooke retreated, that relationship ended as well, leaving Hope to fight a losing battle by herself without any support. At least not at Forrester Creations or on the Logan property. Daphne plays on Carter's weakness this week as well, and it might give him the boost he needs. We witnessed Carter struggle with his love for Daphne as she planted a kiss on him. Therefore, Carter may abandon Hope and her rage if Daphne prevails. As Hope Logan's circumstances worsen, keep an eye out for her to turn to her father, Deacon, after her mother has destroyed her. Unless she goes to visit Deacon, his wife Sheila, and her granddaughter Luna, no one is interested in her argument with Steffy anymore. Hope always maintained that the company's theft was the proper course of action, as if it were a means of redressing a serious injustice. Hope will ultimately need to find a new path and new companions after Brooke attacks her this week, but I don't think her rage will go away or her attitude will change unless it just gets worse. Carter sees the true Hope after Steffy is validated and proven correct. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester Finnegan was certain that Hope Logan would flip against Carter Walton. Steffy thought that if he gave Forrester Creations back to the Forresters, Hope would desert him, so he did. After she was fired and her line was terminated, Hope believed Carter would resign. Carter, however, did not follow Hope's example. Carter and Hope reunited at the cabin shortly after, in what appeared to be a parting scene. Hope was oblivious to the fact that she was turning out to be what Steffy had claimed, and she wasn't considering Carter. The pattern was initially noticed by Steffy Forrester Finnegan. People at FC started to notice that Carter had been acting strangely lately. But Steffy was the first to notice that Carter was a part of a pattern that Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, and Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, also followed. Steffy is in a better position than others. Devoted followers are aware that she and Hope fought for control of Liam for a long time. Steffy also realized that Thomas, her brother, was slipping into a trap. Hope had no romantic feelings for him, but he was enamored with her. Hope eventually forced herself to accept 2 marriage proposals from Thomas and enter into a consensual relationship that wasn't based on love. Carter Walton cherishes his family and career. Carter rose through the ranks of this close-knit family's fashion company. In more recent years, he was assigned to a position on the board of directors and promoted from chief legal counsel to chief operating officer of FC. Steffy was able to persuade her father and grandfather that Carter's shady takeover of the business was merely motivated by Hope's provocation. Since they consider Carter a member of their family, that perspective absolves him and resonates with the resurrected top trio. A de facto father figure is Eric Forrester. Ridge Forrester is regarded as both a close friend and a sibling. Logan overplayed her hand, I hope. Hope overreacted to the hand she dealt herself. She was confident that because of their emotional connection, Carter would always be receptive to her arguments. However, a key figure in Steffy's strategy to regain control of the business was Daphne Rose. Everyone who appreciated Daphne's distinctive scents, including Carter, caught her aroma. However, Daphne, who plans to replace Hope, took over Carter's heart and thoughts. However, viewers aren't discounting Noelle's role. She is disgraced and unemployed. Since Hope has nothing to lose, she will probably use a variety of tactics to exact retribution. For both emotional and professional reasons, her many ex-husband Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, who holds a prominent position at Spencer Publications, is anticipated to make a reappearance. Once more, Ridge Forrester is caught between his long-standing relationship with Taylor Hayes and the constant allure of Brooke Logan. In spite of their emotional history and their indisputable connection, Ridge decides to leave Taylor once more. The choice follows weeks of introspection during which Ridge wrestles with his own emotions and the nuanced relationships that have shaped his romantic life for many years. Taylor, who is always a strong and elegant woman, doesn't compromise and doesn't ask for Ridge's affection. She is all too familiar with the agony of clinging to something that isn't really hers because she has been in this situation before. She tells herself that she deserves someone who will fully select her, without hesitation or residual misgivings, even though her heart hurts at his leaving. In the meantime, Brooke, who has always been a part of Ridge's life, is in a vulnerable situation. She is obviously happy with Ridge's choice, but she is also aware that history tends to repeat itself. The uncertainty of whether Ridge will ever be able to totally commit to her remains, even though their love has been put to the test numerous times and they always seem to find their way back to one another. Ridge's decision has repercussions that go beyond Taylor and Brooke. The Forrester family is also affected. Steffy Forrester, who is extremely protective of her mother, is furious that Ridge can't support Taylor. She isn't scared to approach Ridge about his waning heart because she has always felt that her parents belonged together. In contrast, Thomas Forrester adopts a more practical stance. Although he knows that pressuring Ridge into a relationship with Taylor will only result in more grief down the road, he still wants his mother to be happy. Taylor is left to pick up the pieces after Ridge leaves. However, she is a different lady now than she was previously. Ridge's indecisiveness does not determine her value. Rather, she shifts her attention to her family, work, and self. And as she does, she starts to think that maybe the nicest thing that could have happened to her was Ridge leaving. However, it's still unclear if Ridge will ever fully let go of Taylor or if this is just another phase in their enduring romance. Katie's rescue mission, Hope's failed slap, and Brooke's boot. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, a teaser clip for Thursday, March 27, 2025, has been made public. It depicts Hope Logan, Annika Noelle, being ejected from her home by Brooke Logan. Hope then makes an attempt to slap her own mother, but Katie Logan stops her. Let's discuss the next scenario while you continue reading. The boot of Brooke Logan. This specific scene is scheduled to air on Thursday, March 27, according to Twitter. This teaser clip was first broadcast on ET, as indicated by the logo at the bottom left. Don't forget to check out our B&B spoilers for next week, here. As shown in the video, Brooke is at her residence with Katie and Hope. In the living room, all three are engaged in a contentious discussion. Most likely, Brooke has already reached her emotional breaking point. It's probable that Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, will be selected by Ridge Forrester, Torsten K, once more. Brooke is also reaching her breaking point because of the takeover reversal and everything else that is happening. I hope Logan's slap didn't work. Hope appears to be having a complete mental breakdown in the video. In fact, this makes me think of the breakdown that occurred when Steffy Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, developed a pharmaceutical addiction. Returning to the present plot, Brooke tells Hope to leave her home. Hope lifts her fist to hit her mother while heaving heavily. Intervenes, Katie Logan. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope never touches her mother's face. Just in time, Katie intervenes and separates the two of them. In addition to serving as a barrier between the two women, Katie violently seizes Hope's wrist. Then, as if Hope were a mischievous toddler, Katie can be heard saying no over and over. A daughter's tragic demise. Hope begins to sob as she storms out of the house toward the end of the teaser clip. Brooke chases after Hope just before she reaches the door. Hope continues to cry and scream as Brooke gives her a firm hug, expressing her regret. Hope seemed to be experiencing some sort of nervous breakdown. Hope's actions might possibly be explained in the future. Perhaps Hope managed to obtain the mystical mints belonging to Penelope Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park. Hope might have a brain tumor or mental disease. It's also possible that Hope receives redemption even though her acts aren't fully revealed. What happens to Hope now that she has lost everything and everyone, anyway? What is the plot that you are most excited to see? Hope breaks, BNB's new dark villain emerges? Hope snaps, new dark villain rises on BNB? March 25, 2025. Belinda Gates Turner Hope Logan. Bold and the Beautiful sees Hope Logan, Annika Noel, hitting rock bottom this week with nothing left to lose, and that's going to leave her looking for someone to blame and also wanting payback. Is she going to go all out to get it? We're going to talk about the possibility that after Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, fired her and Carter Walton, Lawrence St. Victor, stood by that decision they made, that we could see Hope go dark and turn into a full-on villain. Bold and Beautiful, Hope's downfall, Steffy's betrayal and Carter's choice. Okay, so Steffy just read Hope for filth, cut her line. And fired her again from Forrester Creations. And Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, tried to stop it, but she's got no power over Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., Eric Forrester, John McCook, or Steffy. Then Carter chose to stay at FC with the Forresters instead of siding with Hope, even when she begged him to walk out with her. Carter told Hope, "This is my livelihood," but she didn't care. Hope lost it and stormed out. Carter followed her home and tried to salvage things, but Hope dumped him and called him another disappointment. And another man who betrayed her. Carter thinks that because their love affair predated the LLC, that him tearing up the papers shouldn't matter to their relationship. But Hope's pushing him away. That should be a huge red flag to Carter that yes, he was being used for what he could do for Hope, at least to some extent, maybe not 100% being used, but maybe 50-50. Bold and the Beautiful, Hope snaps, new dark villain rises on BNB? Hashtag Bold and Beautiful. Bold and Beautiful, Carter's dilemma, Hope's rejection and a French temptation. The other thing is, Carter feels a really strong pull to Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire. And she's going to make a play for him this week. If Hope sticks to her rejection of Carter, the French woman may have him in her arms. And in her bed before too long. As it stands now, the first issue is Hope has no career. She's never worked anywhere but Forrester, no college degree. Also, she's not a designer. She's the inspiration for a line and just the brand name on it. I'm not sure Hope can whip up a resume with her top skill as nepotism because my mom was married to and sleeping with the business owner, not top skills. On top of the job problem, she got love life problems. Carter is gone, it seems. And that means he's just one more man to let her down like Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, has done so many times. Brooke's betrayal, a breaking point for Hope Logan on BNB. To ice the crap cake she's having this week, something happens that is the last thing that Hope expects. Brooke has always been Hope's rock, the one person who's always got her back. That all changes this week when Brooke goes off on Hope and says, "Until you take responsibility, I got no sympathy for you." Part of this may be Brooke's anger about Ridge not reconciling with her. And sticking with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, this week. Brooke basically tells Ridge, now he's back in the CEO seat, it's time to come home and reunite, push Taylor out of the way. I don't think it's happening. A very frustrated Brooke may lash out at Hope for pushing Carter towards the coup, which Brooke thinks drove Ridge to Taylor, which is pretty accurate. Another part of Brooke's temper fit is that Hope does not think she did anything wrong. Even now she blames Steffy for firing her unfairly, even though the numbers for Hope for the future were in the toilet. Hope knew if she didn't pull them up, that the line was going to be AED. She was told that more than once by several people, including Carter, Steffy, Ridge, Eric, all that. Now Hope also blames Carter for letting Steffy refire her. But as for Hope accepting any responsibility for any of these consequences of stealing Forrester from its owner, that's not happening. Hope still doesn't think she did one thing wrong, which is kind of nuts. Up until now, Brooke has always been able to defend Hope because she tries to be a good girl even when she falls short sometimes. Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan, Annika Noel. Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan. Bold and the Beautiful, Hope's dark evolution, from good girl to potential villain. Ever since Hope kissed Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, and then climbed into his bed, wrecking her marriage, she's been on this spiral, some sort of, I don't know, evil evolution. Then, Hope pulled the coup with Carter. And was rubbing everything in the Forresters' faces. So she's been getting wilder. And making less ethical decisions and has been more unapologetic about it. Soon when Brooke chooses Hope a new one, that could be the moment, the big pivot where she says, you know, screw it, being good never got me anything. You know that saying, is it Mae West who said, good girls go to heaven, bad girls go everywhere? So Hope may decide, you know what, I'm just going to break bad on Bold and the Beautiful. Deacon's influence, will Hope embrace her dark side on B&B? We know there's a lot of scenes coming up with Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, and Hope who she turns to after Brooke rants at her. That means Hope's going to be over at Il Giardino with Deacon and Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown. That also puts Hope into lunatic Luna Nozawa's, Lisa Yamada, orbit, possibly Remy Price's, Christian Weissman, orbit, too. That's a whole bunch of villains who all claim that they're deemed, but I don't know. If Hope decides to go all out and do bad things for payback, she may be joining this league of villains. We could see people who dislike Steffy, including Sheila, Hope, and Luna, all working together against her. Hope may fully embrace her dark side. And team up with all the B&B baddies to get her revenge. I think that would be wicked fun.